All right, so welcome back. Welcome back. Back on track. And let's see, Tuesday, London Open session on an FOMC week. This week. FOMC on Wednesday, as usual. And Thursday having nice high impact news also. Wednesday, Thursday, ideal. Nonetheless, yes, looks like we are still heading towards this low sales liquidity here on ES. These relatively cool lows that are left still not breached yet are probably or likely the draw on liquidity near term, I feel like, and we'll see. We'll generally see what will happen there. So going into the 3 a.m. And expecting possibly lower prices, running this sales liquidity at 7,412 even. That's kind of what I have in mind. Besides that, nothing else resonates with me much. So that's where my focus will be. That's where my focus will reside going forward into this session. So yeah, I mean, price moved quite a lot lower, but ES still has unfinished business on the lows. Still has sales liquidity to go, kinda, which makes it reasonable to expect that run on the sell side here. I think that's what I'm suspecting. Relatively cool lows being built up here already too. I like to see that. Also, I like to see that, and we have 7 minutes to go. Let's check the Nasdaq. M and Q. Yeah, Nasdaq is way weaker, and it already took sales liquidity below the previous day's low here already. Traded probably into this order block here. Exactly. And yep. That's potentially an area where price could maybe bounce on one hand, but at the same time, taking into consideration that we made an impulse price swing from this low to this high, we haven't breached or went close to the equilibrium of that range, which is here. And truth to be told, on an institutional level, they will not want to buy this market really until we at least touch this level, but ideally seek some deeper discount around here. So between the octane and the lower quadrant here would be like solid discount for institutional smart money to be buying Nasdaq again. In theory, obviously. In theory, in practice, we might see some whipsaw here and there, I suppose. But yeah, nonetheless, we did left some clean buy sell liquidity up here, that's for sure. We left the CB, which is very obvious. So that's something on the upside that maybe could be seeked, or at least make an attempt to potentially reach up into the CB. I suppose that would make a little bit of sense. The fact that Nasdaq made a lower low already here, while ES kind of refused to do so, is a little bit sus. But I don't want to pay too much attention or give it too much attention, because I still suspect that ES will eventually fold and take out the sell side liquidity. Matter of fact, it might not happen this session, obviously, but that's what I would like to see unfold eventually. And that's why I prefer ES over Nasdaq at the moment, because Nasdaq already made a lower low and took its sell side liquidity, while ES still has very clean lows available for a potential run on liquidity here. So yeah, I guess, or I suppose, annotating the new week opening up for this week will be the way to go here, as we are technically in close proximity to that. And it so happened that we have a little pool of buy side liquidity that's very, very smooth in form of radical highs. And ever since midnight, we haven't taken any buy side liquidity whatsoever. So on the upside, that's something to potentially consider as a very short-term little draw on liquidity that wouldn't disrupt necessarily the mainstream downside that may unfold. Meaning that if price would retrace and took those radical highs, that would be actually beneficial for the overall structure to eventually roll over and, you know, make that attempt to clear out the sell side liquidity, potentially with a deeper and more pronounced run. So this is what it is. Yeah, this the buy side liquidity here, very, very smooth. And what we have price wise, so we moved from this high from the PM session, relative equal highs. We moved lower, lower, lower. Didn't quite take out this low here, even by the bodies, I believe. Let's see. All right, the bodies were swept very slightly and politely, and the relative equal lows were left in here. That's fair enough. And then price, or ever since then, price started to turn a little bit, and it's retracing now into this high to this relative equal lows. So from this high to this low, equilibrium. All right, so premium in any inefficiency in premium is there. It's this one. So this is like a short-term or near-term line in the sand, I would say, that if we could reach this level here, the price could potentially sell off. But the caveat is we have relative equal highs up here and here. So selling on this fair value gap here just blindly might be a little bit too ambitious, taking into consideration the fact that technically we could see a run through this inefficiency and then exploiting the relative equal highs buy side, meaning that we could even use this as a bullish inversion to send it towards the buy side, right? Theoretically, which at this moment it doesn't change, or it doesn't shift the higher time frame bias, the higher time frame potential draw to the sell side that's lower. It doesn't change that. But what it's influencing is the short-term or near-term price action, price structure that may want to or may require a deeper run on the buy side before it can likely turn and like focus on the lows again. And that's kind of what I'm trying to weather out in here. And that's probably what I will try to weather out this session. So 5 minutes after midnight New York time, the CB, that's my key point of reference for now, to see how we will act around us, around this fair value gap. Because if premium sensitivity is being shown right away and price will quickly start moving lower from that, then I think these lows should be, these highs should be spared, and we should roll over and run the sell side liquidity rather smoothly. But if we trade into this and above it, then this could act as inversion fair value gap to bring us towards the relative highs. Then I would need to watch and see what happens actually. Let's also take into consideration that after yesterday's large range sell-off, we are just consolidating near the lows of previous days low, which is, we are technically discounted also quite a bit. So yeah, that's kind of like the game plan. The situation isn't 100% obvious or clear right now at this moment, and waiting for more information around this CB. That's what I'm that's what I'm doing right now. So because those radical highs could be still potentially in play, this CB should give like a lot of information according to that potentially unfolding or negating that completely. So let's see. Yeah, we definitely left beautiful radical low sell side here. But that might be left as a bait for the later session too. So I want to be pretty careful with that, I suppose. But yeah, 4 minutes after 3 a.m. we basically started the long open session silver bullet. The idea is not 100% clear right now, even though higher time frame I do favor the sell side here. I still have to consider the intraday short-term market structure that's in play right now and the possibilities that it can offer. And those equal highs with the new week opening up being in close proximity, that's something that may be a factor for the price to may want to seek up into it first, and for example then potentially roll over, right, instead of rolling over right away. So that situation, that structure makes it, in my eyes at least, less probable to unfold in a very easy manner. We'll see how it will go. Obviously it might change, we might get some additional information, but that's how I see it at the moment. All right, so there is a small little busy buy side inefficiency yeah, basically inefficiency, sell side imbalance. And tapping into this is also like a important information whether we will see a discount sensitivity and rejection here. All right, so far we got a nice little touch in here into this inefficiency, and price is reacting higher. It also has this premium wick above this candle. So watching the consecutive encroachment of that wick is also important. If we can close above the consecutive encroachment after this little reaction here, that would seem short-term bullish to me, and we would definitely want to reach up into the CB and then probably see whether we can go above it, use as inversion and clear those equal highs, or like tap into the lower half of it and then displace lower, which would indicate that it's likely to run the sell side next. So that's kind of how I see it at the moment. But yeah, this touch was really strong, I would say, near term at this time. So we got the CB here. We trade into the CB. We will likely close above the consecutive encroachment of this premium week. And the next order of business would be to see whether we will reject off of that CB and or trade above it and then use as a potential inversion for value gap to clear out the buy side liquidity along or above us and touching into the NWOC, the current new week opening up. So that's kind of what's on the table right now. I feel like a crossroad moment where it could go either way from where it is right now. It could go lower and attack the sell side. It could go higher if it goes above it and use it as support. So I'm waiting to see. And again, if we can close above it, I favor this as to act as an inversion that's bullish and draw towards those equal highs at 7,457 even. Okay. Let's see. Hypothetical inversion idea would allow for something like this. Probably I should use one contract less and widen the stop to be below the consecutive encroachment of this premium week, if that's the case. So if this fair value gap could get inversed, that's a potential setup that I would have in my mind. If it fails and offers displacement to the downside, then I would like to use the new inefficiency that's gonna be formed with the displacement to then aim for that old low sales liquidity. Yeah, I mean it's slightly like a weird spot with the Nasdaq making that lower low. ES refusing to do so consistently, both trying to reach up a little bit. Nasdaq, I don't know, I'm not a fan right now. ES seems, because it was already relatively stronger, reaching for that buy side wouldn't be earth shattering, I would say, but it would need to inverse this fair value gap first for me to consider that idea valid. If it doesn't happen, or if it never closes above this CB, then I will just never entertain a long. But yeah, so far it looks like it's not rejected. It didn't reject the first candle, it didn't reject the second candle, and the third candle is already trading to the high. So I'm watching closely. So yeah, so far price is romancing with the premium high of this CB, having 3 more minutes to potentially close above that. And then if that's the case, especially if we could see it close above it and don't even run those equal highs here first, I would really like this to act as in bullish inversion and see a potential run towards the buy side up there. And yeah, that would have been a counter higher time frame trade, counter to the higher time frame order flow, but with the elements that I outlined, I would feel like that would be like a reasonable idea to go with in that regard. All right, so 1 more minute to see a potential close above it or not. We are still romancing with slightly above it, so I'd say it's reasonable to expect that we will close above it at this candle, which would be in the realm of reasonable to make this a bullish inversion for value gap that could send us higher. Alright, so it gave away a little bit of the range. It closed slightly below the consecutive encroachment, I believe. And that's where we are. So let's see if we can see any rejection out of that or what it wants to do here. A little bit of rejection is being seen here. And generally, if it's really bearish at the moment, this should be already displacing aggressively lower. Like, yeah, there is like time is running and we are just spending time inside of this inefficiency. The body's offering small ranges inside of it, also doing some like doji type of price action here, which in my mind it favors the outcome of this running higher more at this moment still. But again, sticking to the rules, I would like to see price close above it first, and then I would consider this as a valid bullish inversion for value gap to potentially send it higher. Right, so 1.5 minutes still left for this candle to close. We'll see how it will close. But yeah, we also have a small little premium wick that's to the left of this current candle. All right, so we are just still spending time inside of this inefficiency, not really turned around yet, but also not invalidated that completely either. We are forming a swing high at the moment. The bodies ever since entered the CB can't really trade outside of it, either to the upside or to the downside, and that's where we are right now. And let's see, let's watch. I feel like I have a gut feeling that we may see some sensitivity here at around the low, and to send it higher. Also, this down close candle here is very fortunate if we go and close above this inversion, because that would have been a bullish inversion for value gap with a bullish order block inside of it, within a bullish order flow overall, while we have relative equal highs in here. So lots of things would work in favor of potentially running there. But yeah, still sticking to the process and waiting for the close above it if it's bullish, or strong rollover lower if it's bearish. At the moment, I do favor higher towards those equal highs, but that's it, basically. I don't want to project anything higher than that at the moment. So we'll see. We'll see if it's even possible to see any run for this session, because yeah, so far we are spending quite a bit of time inside this inefficiency. and I generally don't like to see that. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Yes, no live stream yesterday. I had some stuff to do and couldn't make it, or couldn't fit it yesterday. But yeah, I'm I'm back, and I think I should be back, like every day from now on. So let's see. I mean, we have some DD, we have some drawdown that I need to work on also, because I had some worse period. That's the account balance at the moment, 49,535.5. Same account, same everything, working or recouping the drawdown slowly. All right, so still looks like looks like the bodies are unwilling to really leave this range to the downside, which is interesting. We made a little bit of a turnaround, but we have this fair value gap. I mean, two fair value gaps and a bullish order block that we can possibly utilize there. So I'm still kind of watching and waiting to see what it does. Both sides are technically still valid, but I still kind of favor the run on the buy side here for some reason with the current price action. All right, so it's still taking its time. It's still kind of not being able to find interaction to move lower as it is right now. We did breach the 3:30 time window for the long open session. That's usually where another price swing starts to unfold. So I'm watching that closely. And yeah, still waiting. I mean, nothing is happening right now. Not much is happening right now. It's just consolidating, time distorting in a sense around this inefficiency in here. So I need to see a close above it or displacement below it to have anything to work with, I believe. Other than that, we are just meandering around and doing not that much, I suppose, but that's fine, that's fair. We'll see what we get eventually. It's clearly the bodies respecting the discount low of the CB. Also, there is a volume imbalance here that the bodies respect. The wicks did the damage. The bodies don't want to close below it. So that's potentially a bullish signature here within all of this structure. But if that's the case, price should have no issues or no problems closing above that CB and using this as inversion later on. Is it still possible? I guess so. We have still 24 minutes left for this silver bullet hour to unfold something. So it's definitely in the realm of possibilities that we can see that unfold still. But at the same time, I just need to wait, right? I cannot force that happening sooner anyhow, so it is what it is. a little bit of earned price action below that CB here, but still I do not see much of a follow through, which is interesting. But yeah, let's watch and see. But yeah, if we wicked like this, for example, right? We saw those relatively cool lows here on the wicks. We wicked through that. Couldn't reach the consecutive encroachment of this wick here. And the price is rejecting to the upside. If we could close above it now, then this should act as a valid bullish inversion for value gap and send us higher, because that would be like a stop run on those relatively cool lows. And the bodies would basically, the body would tell that it's strong, that it's bullish. But yeah, we couldn't close above it yet, so let's see. Another 5 minute. Let's wait. Yeah, still hard time going through that. It looks like it is what it is, I suppose. If it doesn't want to do anything, then still quite slow of a session here. Small little range bodies being formed inside of the CB. Already too many candles inside of that. That's for sure. And it kind of takes more time than anyone would like to see it take. which in my opinion may lead still to an explosive price run closer to the macro, because after all this 1 hour block of the silver bullet price action, price not moving, not making the move, would discourage a lot of people from expecting anything to happen out of it. And that's usually when price likes to actually move, when it's like that. But nonetheless, time distortion is waiting for time element. Next time element for the price to move is 350 to 410 macro, and that's when it would be reasonable expected to price leave this little consolidation here. And that's what I'm looking for. If that fails to deliver, then I'm content with enough of this price action here overall. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get. All right, so now it looks like it's turning around in here. But let's see. Let's give it this a little bit of doubt. And let's see. Let's just see, because I wouldn't mind if after this attempt to go lower here, if it would go above this inversion, I mean above this CB, then that would be a prime candidate still. But we had a short-term swing low being formed right there, and now we are trading through that with a measure of displacement. So that's very important and interesting to watch and see whether we can actually end up with a CB, another inefficiency here that's lower or not. And to see that, we will need another candle. I mean, this candle will need to close near the low, and the next candle will show whether there is inefficiency or not. So I suppose regardless, I can take this limit order off for now, because it's less likely that we will trade above this CB in the next couple minutes, I suppose. And watching this displacement here is now what I want to focus on. Because yeah, I mean, displacement here brings my attention down to the sell side liquidity, 7,411 and 3/4. But yeah, I need to see this candle, or I want to see this candle close. The next candle leave an inefficiency here. I'm not a huge fan of this wick being pulled off on the low. I'm usually not a huge fan of that when it comes to the displacement. I prefer not to see that. But yeah, fair enough. 350 macro starts also. So now tapping back into this bullish inefficiency here. So far only with a week. And we are kind of stuck, admittedly. We are kind of stuck with this price action here. I still kind of favor the buy side liquidity being a potential mark. But again, right now, this CB, we rolled over off of that CB slightly, and we dropped into this busy bullish for value gap. And if it's bearish, we don't want to see it being respected at all, right? If it's bearish, it should have no issues with trading below that inefficiency. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's very likely at the moment. We are already closing majority of this potential inefficiency, so there is no real displacement through that that remains pretty much. Maybe besides this 1 minute little CB here. But besides this, there is really nothing left on the 5 minute that's really useful, which to be honest makes me think that if we go above this CB here again, I mean again for the first time on the closing basis, then again that becomes a high probability inversion for value gap to send us higher. And that's kind of what I see still. So let's bring the order back. We have 2 minutes until this candle closes here, and we are already digging into the CB. So there is quite a chance that it might close above that and inverse that CB. Not saying that it will happen, but if it will, then I'll be interested in using that as bullish inversion. If it don't, then I'll be just fine doing nothing and just navigating the market. Admittedly, time is ticking, so it would be ideal to present that on this candle. I don't know if it's possible. We have 1 minute left, so I guess nothing is impossible, but We do have this 1 minute inversion here that I like it too. That would be slightly more aggressive, admittedly, but generally the logic and the idea is quite the same. So yeah, I could technically use this one. And I got this lower time frame, 1 minute bullish inversion for value gap in here. And I can now use that potential 5 minute CB that potentially could get inversed as a means of further confirmation to the idea that I'm painting that we might see a run towards those relative equal highs on the 5 minute chart, 1 minute and 15 minute. So I got the inversion for value gap here. I have a nice stop loss below this low, which it should not go there if it's good. It should not breach this inversion for value gap if it's good. And now we'll see. It's still the macro, so it's ideal time. If I'm correct on the idea, it should be delivering higher aggressively anytime soon, inversing this CB eventually. And yep. So I will change the color now to the inversion color, because that's how I want to see this act as at the moment. I use this specific 345 bullish inversion for value gap. Why? We've taken sell liquidity, dropped into a discount array, rejected that, and closed quickly above it. So within the idea that it's quite reasonable to expect it could seek higher prices here near term, it meets the criteria that I like to see, potentially engage that. And it all happened during the macro 350 410, which makes it even better in my eyes if it's good, right? If it's good. So we'll see. If it's good also, I don't want to lose this inefficiency. If we will, then that's probably not ideal. And I'll be up to close it by hand, and that's also fine for me. So let's see, as we are testing the lower half of this, it really needs to show sensitivity and run higher away. Okay, no close below it yet. That's good. No close below it yet. but I would need to, or I would want to see it reject this nicely and strongly here. That would be the signature that I'm looking for, and then I'm pretty confident about the idea. I mean, I like the fact that we left equal highs here also. That makes me think that it could or should be disrupted also. It shouldn't be left like this and just roll over. I mean, it can, but shouldn't necessarily do that. Let's see, we tap the low of this inversion for value gap. Small little rejections here, but yeah, I don't want to see dive below it like this. That's probably not good. Yes, that's definitely not what I wanted to see. And that's equal to this setup basically failing, I suppose. So fair enough. Okay, I will take that reduced loss of 60, and I will consider that the setup didn't deliver to what I wanted to see deliver, because I was really not willing to see anybody close below this inefficiency. We did saw it with a large range down close, and I would prefer to take that $59 loss that's realized versus potentially taking a full 125 or a little more to the spread full stop, right? Because also it left radical lows now here, right? So that definitely becomes even more iffy, more tricky to tell, and yeah, I would like to do it this way, regardless of what happens. Even if it delivers higher now, that's fine on me. But yeah, tricky price action, I would say. Tricky price action. So let's leave it at that. Yeah, now displacing higher to my entry price. But yeah, I'm content. I'm content. Yeah, I mean the thing that it would need to do right now, it would need to completely smash higher, and this would be considered as a measure of manipulation. And I think it's in the realm of reasonable to expect that, even though at the same time it's kind of sus because it left equal lows here. It's consolidating. It's hard to trust that it won't make some shenanigans, I suppose. But yeah, no less. That's it for now. Because I didn't took out the full stop loss, I took a small little paper cut. I might be back during the AM session later today or PM session. We'll see. We'll see. But nonetheless, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Kudos to you guys, and we are going back on track. See you.